Yo, what's up? Episode 162. Let's have some fun. Oh, yeah. In. Cheers, everybody. Welcome. Come on in. Let's have some fun. I am excited for this one. Let's do it. Oh, yeah. There we go. Analog is wonderful. What's up, people? I'm Cardone. This is evening hour 162. What is going on? It's Monday. Come on in. If you're new, hit the like and subscribe. It means a lot. And if you're new, be aware. It's a chat show. Live chat. So say hi. I have a good one tonight. Come on in. I am drinking sangria soda. If you've never had this, I highly recommend it. I don't know the origin of that soda. Drink rabbit in a cup. Oh, you did. I teased you, Dark Alchemy. Come on in. We got Dark Alchemy Ashworth. My sister's in the house. Goblinko, what's up, brother? I'm going to do a little mini opening of all the new stuff. Or at least I'm going to go over some of it because it's kind of vast, actually. So if you're a game fan, stick around. We have the creator of the game in the chat right now. Party on. What else? My mom's in the house. What's up, mama? Jason, what's up? Enjoy. Let's have fun. I have a good show tonight. My part about magic is going to be pretty deep. So if you're interested in magic, magicians, art, theory, you're going to love this episode. Come on in. Before we get going... yes, there are chat points. The more you chat, the more points you get. Look below in the messages for how it works. It'll explain. Also, I believe it is Jarritos Sangria flavor. Yeah, they sell the Jarritos right beside it. This doesn't say Jarritos on the bottle, but it's in that section in the grocery store. By God, it's delicious. I'm trying to quit drinking soda. And seeing this in the grocery store didn't help. Oh, it tastes a little bit like wine. Now, I don't drink, so this is great. If I get really, fired up, I'm going to light this firecracker up in a few minutes. But let's keep moving here. I got a lot to say. Before we get to that, my show is sponsored by me, Wacky Mart. Go to wackymart.com and you will see some wacky stuff. I have some one-of-a-kind items in there. I keep adding new ones. What else? Not sponsored by Goblinko, but I do talk about them a lot, and some people ask me if I am. I would say I'm unofficially sponsored, and I don't know if he would agree, but yes, I do promote their product. We have a mutual back and forth camaraderie of sorts, and I don't mind advertising them at all. Any underground projects, any art-driven projects that come from the heart, I support. So we'll get to that in a second. What else? Okay, before I go any farther, I do want to review 2 films quickly. How's my sound tonight? It's a little loud in here. I saw the Argento film that came out a few years ago called Dark Sunglasses. Now, as you know, I'm a crazy Argento fan. He has kind of inconsistent work. His two films before Dark Sunglasses were Dracula 3D. Terrible. Terrible. Sorry, Dario. I couldn't even get through it. Terrible script, terrible special effects. And then there's the film Giallo. Giallo is referring to Italian murder mysteries. Giallo is the color red, or yellow. What's wrong with me? Profondo Russo. Russo's red. Giallo's yellow. It's the color of the books. The old pulp trade mystery books. Anyway, it stars Adrian Brody. Giallo. Terrible. I watched the trailer. I watched a million reviews. I started it. I couldn't even get through it. The new one, Dark Sunglasses. Better than the last two. Lots of holes. I'll tell you the plot really quickly. It's about a blind prostitute. And I will say that part of it's interesting, actually. A movie about a blind person, watching them learn how to, because they go blind in the story. Watching them how to learn how to live again. I mean, if anybody's ever had an ailment and you had to relearn how to do things, from an outsider, it's interesting and it's fascinating to watch. So that part of the story blew my mind. The killer and the story and the murder mystery part, it's not, not good. It ain't Opera or Suspiria or any of the other old ones for that matter. So, is it worth checking out? Yes, if you're an Argento fan. Asia Argento makes quite an appearance in it. She's in it a bunch. If you're a pseudo Argento fan, forget it. Life's too short. Stuart! Oh my god, I'm so glad we have another magician in the house. Stuart, you gotta stick around for this one. After I get through a quarter or half of the show, I'm gonna go all magic theory. We have a mentalist magician in the house below. Stuart. Hopefully we get a few more magicians in the house. I am going to rant a bit. Some of you know this already. I don't like 99% of magic and magicians. I don't. I'll explain it in the thing. I also saw a fan film for Friday the 13th that was pretty good. It's called Friday the 13th Vengeance. Can't remember the name. And it has C.J. Graham in it. Jason from Part 6. He doesn't play Jason. I don't want to spoil it. Way better than Argento. If you're a Jason Friday the 13th fan, I highly recommend it. It's a plot based around... I love it. It's a plot based around the other characters. Not Jason. I mean, Jason's in the movie, but it's about Tommy Jarvis and Mrs. Jarvis and Mr. Jarvis. Or not Mr. Jarvis, Mr. Voorhees. It's interesting. I don't want to spoil it. There's a sequel that stars the guy that played Tommy in Part 6. I haven't seen it yet. I will watch it. I am a Jason nerd. So, for the horror fans, check it out. If you're new to this show, listen. This show, I love getting donations, and I will throw this up right now. Ba-boom. I live by performing, so below there's a link. If you don't donate, that's fine. Just hit the like and subscribe. It's so easy. You go click, and then there's a little thing. It makes a huge difference on a channel that's designed to squash me. As I get closer to monetization, they keep making the goalpost farther away. So, what? I can't hear you. I can't hear you, YouTube. I'll turn it up. I have never seen this. Phasing player. I will... What's it called? Never hike alone. I'm writing it down. Never hike alone. I might watch that this evening if I... Well, probably not, but I'll watch it. Also, anybody here a fan of the new UFO phenomena? Well, I'm not, because I think it's all BS. And if you watch some of my other episodes, I'll go into a lot of detail. I used to buy into the government was hiding UFOs. I don't believe that anymore. There's been some really good journalism by one source. One. It's amazing. There's not much out there. Now, believe it or not, it's a company that's famous for putting out crap. New York Post. It's a big newspaper in New York, famous for being a little tabloid. Well, if you go onto YouTube, and you go here where you're watching, and you go to the New York Post page, you will see a lot on the UFO phenomena from a point of view that is basically countering everything. They're drawing all the ties together of where it's all coming from. And that guy, David Grush, that is out there, the FBI agent that's saying that the UFOs are real, you gotta see the backstory. It's not what you think. And whenever you see him on the Congress hearing, right over this shoulder is George Knapp, and on the other shoulder is Jeremy Corbell, the filmmaker. They seem like nice people. I don't believe a word they say. Okay, so go look at the New York Post's expose on the UFO phenomena happening now. You will see it nowhere else. People don't like skeptics. People don't like poo-pooing cool things. And right now, the UFO thing is getting some attention, and I'm just saying, it's not what you think. Check it out. I was kind of blown away by this guy who is on the New York Post and the amount of detail he put in to finding out the BS. All you got to know is the government was giving money to the Skinwalker Ranch guys. Please. That was a money-making hoax. Just like most haunted house experiences. Look, you're talking to a guy that would love to believe in that stuff. So it's not that I'm like trying to... Look, I would love to see the real stuff, but unfortunately, under a magnifying glass and a microscope and a bright light, the cockroaches run. Come on in, people. We got new people coming in. They're popping in. Cyrena, what's up? How are you? I always say Cyrena because your name's Serena, but there's a Y in it, and my phone doesn't recognize Serena. Yes, well, I do believe that there's probably some sort of life form somewhere, and probably there's other dimensions that we could never fathom. That I buy into, but I've never seen... I just believe in the possibility of it. I don't believe there's been evidence of such. That's what I think. Let's get moving. What else do I have to say before I do a game nerd section? I am a game nerd. I don't have... I have hobbies. I have my sport hobbies. Surfing, hunting, fishing, archery, guns. If somebody says, what sports do you participate in? That's it. Surfing and skateboarding. I do those here. Hunting, fishing, archery, and guns. Those are my hobbies. And have been for, I don't know, my whole life, some of them. Not surfing has not my whole life, but the other ones, yes. Game Nerd has been with me since the late 70s. And I have a very powerful relationship to game stores, game conventions, and all things board games, miniature gaming, miniature painting. And how many years has it been? Oh, roadside picnic. Oh, hold on. Roadside picnic. I'm going to look it up. Roadside picnic. UFO. So how many years, Sean, has it been since Goblinko put out Dungeon Degenerates? 7? Well, if it's 7 years, about 7 years ago, right here on this floor, I got... Well, it's over here. I don't want to move it. Handcam 2. Hi, there's Handcam 2. I got Dungeon Degenerates, the board game. And I'm going to tell the story again, Sean. I don't know, you've probably heard me tell this before. I bid on the game because I liked your art. To me, I'm a fluff gamer. If I don't like the art and the story and the background, I don't want to play the game usually. If I want to play abstract gaming, like chess or something, that's different. Ah, wow, that's amazing. It's been 7 years. I can't believe it. So 7 years ago, I'm sitting here on this carpet. The game finally arrives. I even watched the playthrough of the other guy doing the playthrough. And I remember thinking, it looks a little fiddly, mechanic-y. Lot of mechanics, and I don't like too many mechanics. So, to be honest, I had a little bit of like it's probably going to be a beautiful game that I play with it and then put it on the shelf, and that's that. I got the game. I opened it up. I remember the first time I ran a turn. I ran the turn, and I was like, wow, that is not easy. There's a lot of... it is wild that you've been around that long, that game. It's coming. 10 years is going to come quick. You got to do something crazy for your 10 years. My idea is do a hardback book of mission books 1, 2, 3, and I'm sure you're going to put another one out by then. Like, do a hardback so they're all in one book. That would be sick. Anyway. See, okay, all right, hold on. So the fiddly, the hard part of the game, I did the turn. But you can play the game alone, okay? I did the turn. I did another turn. I remember I was like, okay, I'm getting a little bit of a hang of it. I went to bed, and I left the game set up. I kind of knew I had to. By day 3, I was so hooked. I don't even know what to say. It's one of the greatest games. It is my favorite board game of all time. I've played thousands of hours. I literally had it permanently set up in my living room for a solid 2 years. Now I can set it up and take it down quick. And I plan on doing very soon, probably in the next week or so, live gaming. It's going to be here on this channel. It's going to be called Boardgasm. That's the other show on here. And I'm going to be playing the game live. It's going to be turns. Hey, I'm taking a turn. And on the chat, I'm going to ask for suggestions. It's going to be like a choose your own adventure. Should I go that way or that way? If I go that way. The game is a fantasy board game set in a medieval / Germanic Baroque. What other words am I missing to describe it? There's gunpowder, but there's also swords, and it's Fantasyland. It's got the Germanic flavor, kind of like Warhammer a little bit, and it is an open world. It is a sandbox. You can do anything you want. You have a mission, you have goals, but you can leave the mission whenever you want and do whatever you want. If somebody hires you in the story to go kill somebody, like an assassin, well, you can kill that guy and then go back and probably kill the guy that hired you. It's in the game. It's great. I'm telling you, it's unbelievable. So, it's not gothic. Oh, no, it's gothic, but it is not steampunk at all. I actually don't like steampunk very much. I will say there might be a few elements of steampunk, but I don't really think of steampunk when I see this game. Sean, the creator, who's in here right now, folks. He's in here, right here. He is a fan of Warhammer. I've talked to him about this. Oh, it's a book. Roadside Picnic. Cool. So, what is the new stuff that came out? Well, I wanted to show you just a little bit of how fantastic this is by the characters you can play. Now, these are, quote, they're stock characters. They don't have names. You get to name the character. But let me show you, for example, before I show you the new characters that came out, I just want to give you an example of one. Okay, here's a couple I'll show you. All right. Here is a fantasy character you can play. I'll move this to here. See this guy right here? He's a mercenary alchemist. Basically, he's some sort of drug dealer of sorts. But you can play this guy. He's a human militant scholar. He comes with a flash bomb and a light pistol. And his skill's alchemy. Okay? Oh, here we go. It really is a fantastic game. It looks really complicated at first, but it gets pretty intuitive. Yes, it does. It starts to click. Yes! It is very well thought of. Ashworth, there you go. We have game fans in here. All right, so look, here we got the swordsman, the solitary swordsman, sleazy guy. We've got the Void Witch, who snorts void powder and goes into the void and battles monsters. Here's the fishy confectioner. She got in trouble by the food administration of the city. And she makes aspics. I'm telling you. So here's some of the new characters. Look at this. I can't wait to play this guy. The beefy barbarian. Does he look familiar? Does he look familiar? My God, I can't wait to paint the miniature for this one. I am going to make him look like a very popular character, and I think it's hilarious that he can be in the game now. So I'm not going to show you all the characters. I'm going to show you my favorites. Here we go. Look at this one. The warrior poet. Human, fighter, performer. He comes with an axe. Look, he can play the guitar and hit you with it. A shiny shield, and his skill is street songs. He raps to make people feel good. I cannot wait to play this. Okay. All right, this one here blew my mind that you, Sean, added this as a character. Manscrag. He's a human. He's a Puritan. He's a hunter. His skills are detective, strike fear. He comes with a costume and a scatterang. Now, I think you know where this character's, what's going on here. Listen to me. The character of Manscrags started off as just lore in the lore book. Then he put it as a law monster. In the monster decks, under law, Manscrags is in there. So you can get basically arrested by him and taken to the authorities. Now you can play him. You can play Manscrags. You know what he is. I mean, did you know that the emperor of the main town is a jester? I mean, I can't make this up. It's like my weird fantasies come true. I mean, me and the creator, I think, are basically of the same exact generation. I mean, it's twisted, awesome fun. This is what happens when you don't have corporate crap breathing over your neck. Okay? You get this stuff. All right, here's some other characters that you get to be in this game. New ones. Oh, the Squash Sorceress. Love it. It's a magic user I can't wait to play. How about this guy, the Weird Wizard? He's got a weird power. He's able to make things weird. I can't wait. Oh, Rick Sherman, you'll like this one. Me and Rick Sherman talk a lot about this one. The Fool, the actual character from the tarot cards, becomes a character in the game. He's like Diogenes, the philosopher. This is a weird one, Sean. I'm curious of your idea from this one. Where did this come from? The Provincial Prowler. It's such a character you would never... You know, it's funny, like, I'm one of those guys that, like, I would never pick that character to play. Because it's like, Provincial Prowler? It's so odd. But I like trying things that are unconventional and seeing what they turn into. That's when I Dungeon Master and someone has a really crappy character they rolled up and they're like, God, can I roll a new one? My answer is no. Make your crap work. Make it work. Yes! Benjamin is... Sean, I don't know if you see this. It says... Oh, Ashworth. Oh, yeah. Okay, oh, yeah. There's people in here that are getting the Kickstarter. Benjamin, it's the first time I'd seen Sean's art. No board game has ever looked like this. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, street punk art. Okay, now I get it. Yeah, she's, okay. Yeah, she's like the squatter punks that used to hang out in the Tompkins Square Park while I worked in the record store. I get it. Yeah. And I think, oh my God, I'm glad you told me that because now it makes a lot more sense. I like it. Now look at this character. Here's the last one of the new ones. I wasn't going to show them all, but here they are. The Leather Lash. She's like a twisted dominatrix. You know, I might, like this character looks, oh, I can't wait. I mean, even this character I would play. I would play all of these. Yes! Live cam. This is what happens when you when real punk rockers make things other than punk rock, you get these kind of games. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so when you get new things for this game, what are you getting? Well, there's only one game. And so whenever Sean, the guy in the chat, releases new product, he'll do characters, monsters to shuffle right into your deck. These cards here, which are encounters, and by God, there are so many encounters that sometimes I'll have an encounter happen, and I know it's never going to happen ever again for the rest of my life. I'll never see it again. That's kind of neat. That the amount of time and effort to each encounter card, sometimes they have 2 encounters on, and this is basically Dungeons and Dragons without the Dungeon Master. I've said it before. That's what this is. So, and then here's the real meat right here. Booyah! These little booklets. The new Kickstarter came with missions 2 and 3, and these are the missions. These are the adventures. For instance, here's some right away. I have to decide before we play online, live, the 2 characters I'm going to use live on the game. I want to pick characters that are... I'm not going to run Man Scrags as the character because it's a different flavor. I want to run a couple traditional style, like maybe one traditional fantasy character like the Beefy Barbarian and one other type of character. I don't know which mission I'm going to start with. I might start with the first one in the main book, which is they bust out of jail. Oh, I forgot to mention. The characters all start off incarcerated. That's why it's called Dungeon Degenerates. They're crooks. The shop. Yes, phasing player. I believe Goblinko has distribution now. But that doesn't mean these will all be available, I believe, in his web store. Yes, and there's a link below, if you look below. So, which missions do I want to play? Well, okay, I'm going to read a few right now. The first one in here is called Bomber, and basically you get, you're basically the Wurstreich, or the Wurstreich, which is the kingdom of the game. Brutalberg is the town, the Wurstreich is the kingdom. Basically, in the game, you can be... Well, there's a few jails in the game. When you start the game, the 3 starting missions are either you're in jail in the main city, or you've been immediately sold into slavery to the Frog King, and you're on your way to go to you're the Frog King slave, or you're in a caravan going to the Goblin Kingdom as a slave. That's how the game starts. You're like captured, and you got to get out. So the first mission is you got to get out. You can join a gang. You can do some political terrorism. You can assassinate people. You can do good stuff too if you want. You can go good guy. You can. You can be a Puritan. You can be so pure you're going to purify the land, right? So Bomber, basically you're a terrorist in this mission. You get to blow up stuff. You're a demolition crew. You got to assemble the bombs, go to the cities, blow them up. Sounds fun. The next mission in here, and you don't have to do these in order, is called Just Another Rat. And this one is you hunting down a rat that turned you in. The guy that got you arrested, you're going after him. It's pretty cool. What else? Stab the judge. A crooked judge you're going to take out. Here's a great mission in here that made me laugh when I just read it. Again, punk rock reference. There's a mission in here called City Baby Attacked by Rats. If you're a punk rocker, you know what that's a reference to. It's the name of an album. Bonus points for anybody knows what band. I'm not going to say. The Black Bats. There's a gang in this called the Black Bats. The Plague of Scrogs. Dirty Deeds. What else? Oh my god, dude. Here's some art in the book. Look at this. Booyah. Look at that. Look at that. There's no game ever that's going to beat this one for me. There's no way. Impossible. Sean, you've created a monster. Your game is going to outlive all of us. I promise you. I'm not joking. When we are all dead, somebody's going to be playing this game. I'm telling you, it's too good. It's an analog masterpiece. So congratulations. I do want to show the metal minis. 1 second. I'm not going to show that. Look. These are sculpted by JC Faircloud, and I believe she is in the UK. So if you're watching, JC, congratulations. These are white, they're metal. They're metal miniatures. And I'm going to paint them all. Sean, do you know of anybody else who's painted everything? Because I've painted everything except for the I don't have a 3D printer. I can't print out those. You release some on a 3D printer, and I'm so computer alien, I can't do it. Okay. Let's get into the meat of the show. I mean, anybody that has a game question, please throw it at me. But, you like his art? So Dark Alchemy, if you're not familiar with Sean Auberg's art, find him on Instagram. Sean, you have a great Instagram. You don't waste our time. Your posts are funny, thoughtful, artistic, and yeah, I appreciate your IG. I don't try to spend a long time on IG. I get in, I do the business I need to do because I'm posting crap I'm doing, and I look at a few pages and get out. I can't, and you're in there where I like your even your fickle posts are good, you know? Like, there's something there. Really? They have free 3D print? Okay, I didn't know that. Huh. Interesting. I doubt the New York ones do. They're cheapskates here. All right, let's get into this magic thing. I made a lot of notes for this. And I really want people to ask questions. Magicians in the house. It is a time waster, but listen, for you, Sean, and me, I use it to make money. And I mean, I'd use it for some fun, but basically, I have a hustle. You have a hustle too. I mean, your hustle is fantastic. And it is a free resource. I painted every single Dungeon Degenerate miniature. All of them. Everyone. They're on one... It's my favorite line of miniatures. I've been collecting Warhammer miniatures my whole life. I have 9 armies I've painted. I wish I could show them to you. They're around the other room. I've painted thousands of miniatures. Those are my most favorite. Yeah, it's useful. It's free. For now. Okay. I called tonight Mundane Magicians. Here we go. Please comment. Oh, I like it. Reverend A. Cardone, you mentioned there's drug use in the game. Yes, there is. Does that mean like a drinking game or like fantasy? It means in the game, there are mechanics involving weeds, mushrooms, pills, and scratch. Scratch is their version of some sort of heroin magic powder. But the drug is you... Okay, good question, Benjamin. I started with 40K. That was my first hole. And then I quickly moved to fantasy. So my 9 armies are fantasy. I sold my 40K stuff. I kept a couple things, but I kept the books and a couple of the original minis. I have a Space Marine and 1 Orc. That's all I need. I do love Old Hammer. The new crap, can't stand. I can't stand all the new Games Workshop stuff at all. It's too much. Mundane Magicians. I wanted to do a show tonight because I think magic is no longer magical. I think magicians are no longer mysterious or magical. It's just what I've seen. I've seen. I'm telling you, Camillo, it's the greatest game hole. You can play it alone. Okay? Go buy one. I'm telling you. I don't know if he has any more left, but I'm sure you have all the new ones coming. It's like the 5th printing. Yeah, it's the only hammer. I fell in love with magic at an early age. I fell in love with magic books. But when I was little, we weren't bombarded with everything. We had a magic special once a year, twice a year on TV if I'm lucky. If I was lucky when I was a kid, a magic guy came to my school once. A couple people had him for birthday parties, the rich kids. Nobody else had a magician at their party. I think I went, when I was little, I once or twice saw a magic guy at a birthday party. Now, where I grew up, there was only like 3 magicians. One of them, Fred Becker, was very good and is still a well-known master magician who performs on cruise ships. He says hello sometimes on my... Okay, well, the old printing is just as good as the new ones, I'm sure. I don't even know what you changed, but pick the game up. I have a backup copy. I have the 2nd edition. I have the 1st edition, but I have a backup 2nd edition, so... I've always wanted to have a backup sealed, ready to go in case something happened. So, why the rant? Well, a few things. Recently, I've noticed that there's a trend on TikTok and Instagram to show a magic trick and then immediately, oh my God, and then to immediately show the secret and go, see? And then there's this other trend where you see someone over here and then you see the magic guy performing and you can see how he's doing it. I saw a Vegas pro doing one of these videos. Now, so that was the trend. Now the trend is to do 5 tricks in a row and show the secret. So that's quantity. They do 1 trick, show the secret. 2 tricks, show the secret. 3 tricks, show the secret. Like, it's a will to power. I get it. It's easy to get clicks. People are immediately excited. Why would you? If I walked on stage, not me, but if somebody walks on stage and they're like, hi, everybody, and they go like this with their ear and everybody erupts into laughter, who's calling me and why is my phone not on silence? So if I walked on stage and for some reason scratched my ear and everybody started to laugh, belly laughing, there are people that would just sit there and just make a whole show out of this, right? They'd be scratching their ear and everybody's belly laughing over and over and over. And then that's it. It's a will to power. They're like getting powerful by doing it. So why would they stop? No one's going to stop making these shitty videos until they stop getting clicks. And they're obviously getting clicks. So, there you go. You saw people disappearing and reappearing in the huts. And I love it. So, I mean, honestly, as I became... Okay, so for anybody watching that doesn't know, I actually make a living doing magic shows. And I've been doing it for a very long time. Stuart Palm, who's in the house, I interviewed him on my show. He's in Hong Kong right now. He's a professional mentalist magician. So, I have a weird relationship to magic. I'm coming at it from, it's my job. But as you know, I don't compromise. I take everything as art first. I am an artist first. I don't make decisions based on money. I never will. I will blow my brains out before I do that. I don't do that. I never have. It's not in my nature. My nature is to make things how I want. It doesn't mean I don't make some compromises, obviously. But basically, the basic cores of everything I do are me and what I believe in myself. Now, everything I'm going to say today, it's just my opinion. And if somebody doesn't like it, there you go. It's just an opinion. Who cares? Right? Move along. But if you want to hear, I have an opinion. I think you might learn something about how I think and how magicians think. If there's a lot of non-magicians watching, I have a nice group in here right now. If you're a magician, say hello. I'm not going to name names of magicians today. I might tell you a few I like and why, but I wanted to mention first what is magic and what is a magician. So, um, I have my own definitions. I've done shows on this, but to me, there are two kind of magical. First of all, we're going into performer. Um. Interesting. I'll tell you before I talk about what a magician is. Agluz. How do you pronounce your name? It's hard to pronounce. It says you're very good at cards. Thank you. You show both sides of your hands. I don't know how you do it. Many years of practice, but it says I saw one guy demonstrate a metal card thing that I don't use. I have. I'll show you. I bought one of those metal card things in the 80s. I might be able to show it to you. Hold on. Hold on. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere here. It's a flat, giant thing that fits on the back of your hand. I'll be honest. It's harder to use that than to put in years of practice. I'm telling you. I tried it. It's garbage. It's this big clunky thing you have to wear. I just do it the real way, which is the hard way. But it's pure sleight of hand. But it's not just sleight of hand. It's timing. I know guys that can do it, but they suck at it because their weird timing is off. So, to me, we're talking about performance magic. We're not talking about casting spells and putting curses on people. I'm talking about you buy a ticket and you go see a show. Or you go to a corporate event and by God, they got a magic guy walking around doing card tricks and doing tricks with borrowed money and whatnot, right? Or a guy walking around a venue reading minds up close, okay? That's what we're talking about. Now, for me, there's two main versions. A, hi, I have real magic powers, and they're mean it. The other guy is, hi, I have fake magic powers, and you are going to pretend they're real, and I'm going to pretend I have magic powers, and together we're going to play together. That's what pro wrestling is. Okay? So those are the two types. Now, when I was a kid, I remember reading the Robert Houdin, the French magician who Houdini stole his name from, Jean-Eugène Robert Houdin. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it correctly. Jean-Eugène Robert Houdin. That's it. Houdin, it's written Houdin, like Houdini, because Houdini put an I and stole the name. He said that a conjurer is an actor playing the part of a conjurer, a magician. It's an actor playing the part of someone who has magic powers. And I never liked that. I thought, what? What is that? Okay, so those are the types of magicians, I would say, right? Okay. Now, what is the job of the magician? If a comedian's job is to create laughter, well, then what's a magician's? To create wonder. Wonder doesn't have an answer. Like, comedy's answer is laughter. Magic creates wonder. Wonder could be laughter, giggling. It could be nothing. It could be fear. It could be anger. Wonder can cause anger. I've seen it. So, wonder, it doesn't have an exact end of what it is. I will say you can direct the end you want. You can guide it to one of those responses. But wonder is wonder, and how people experience wonder, we'll talk about. Since I was a kid, I did a pretty close examination of what this whole art form was. And I noticed that wonder doesn't have a specific response. Now, we got to talk about wonder, because a giant elephant walking down the street, that can cause wonder. But a magician's version of wonder, I made some, there's more than meets the eye. You're seeing a mysterious, impossible thing happen. Impossible. That's the key word. You're making things that aren't possible happen. Well, that's not possible. right? But it's non-theater. You might see it in a theater. You might see it in a convention hall on the floor. But it is non-theater. And this is the part I want to talk about today. I don't see magic as theater. I don't think it should be seen as theater, ever. Because it's the thing that makes it different than all the other art forms. It's done in real time. And if you have to suspend your disbelief, the guy didn't do his job. Theater, you suspend your disbelief. So, I think I've given this example before. I've been hired many times for theater productions to do a magical effect. If you're a magician, you've been asked by somebody, hey, we need this to happen. Can you do it? They need to show a box empty, and then it's not empty. Yeah, I can do that, right? So I got hired once. I've done this a few times. I did the kind of the special effects stuff once for Blithe Spirit. I helped them figure out a couple tricks to do. But I've also, I once got called for another production of Blithe Spirit. In the play, a glass floats across the stage. It says it in the stage direction. It's supposed to be the ghost. So anytime someone asks me about this, this is what I say. If you called me and say, hey, we need to make you do that glass, my first answer is, hey, you want to save a lot of money right now? I'm going to talk you out of hiring me. Yeah, you don't need a magician. They're like, what? You go, just when it's time for that cup to float across the stage, have a stagehand dressed in total black pick it up and puppet it across the stage and then leave. The entire audience, if it's done well, will get it. They'll be like, oh my God, the glass is floating. That's cool. Right? They're already in suspension of disbelief. They're watching actors with the fourth wall, and there's a play going on, right? So save the money. You don't need me. If the audience sees the cup float across the stage and it looks terrible and you can see the strings, you're going to rip them out of the play. They're going to be like, it's stupid. If you hire a magician and you spend thousands of dollars on him and you really make it look real, well, they're like, oh my God, it's really floating. You're also going to rip them out of the play, and you're also going to make them wish the show wasn't a play, but that they were at a magic show. Trust me, magic is powerful. If you make a cup really float on stage in a play and there's no visible means of support, you're probably going to be better than the play you're watching. Just saying. Okay? Yes, well, there's a few interpretations of it. Sometimes you see the ghost in the play. Sometimes you don't. There are scenes where the ghost does do things and no one sees them. And then there are moments where you see what they're seeing. So there's nobody, and that's why there's a few effects. So you see what I'm getting at. Magic is powerful, and it's done as a reality. Why? Because it is real. If I bend a fork, I just bent it for real and corkscrewed it in an impossible manner, and then I give it away. It's real. Whenever I pull a rope through my body and my neck or whatever, I give it away. It's real. My neck is real and the rope is real. I actually did it. It's not theater. Okay? So the goal for the magician who's creating wonder, well, what's the goal? Wonder through magic, real-time mystery. Wonder, discovering wonder from reality, not from telling a fantasy story. You can tell a fantasy story and make people have wondrous feelings. Oh, Lord of the Rings is breathtaking. But seeing an impossible thing happen on stage, it's real. It's not fantasy anymore. So for me, the reality part is what makes it different. I mean, so one of the things I always thought that's fascinating is what other art form you would see in a nightclub What art forms have a claim? A claim. Like, what's the claim? Oh, yes, Angela Lansbury's in it. Yes. What is the claim of an aerialist? Because I work in a nightclub where there's aerialist comedians, strippers, jugglers, magicians, knife thrower occasionally, things like that. What's the claim? What are you claiming? Well, the aerialist is claiming some sort of skill. The comedian's claim is, I'm going to make you laugh. The burlesque performer, there's not really a claim, but they're going to tease. They're going to excite you on a caveman level. Okay? By teasing you, by taking off their clothes. What's the magician's claim? Well, I think for a lot of magicians, the claim is, I'm going to fool you with a magic trick. And I don't even like to say those words. I don't like the word fool, and I don't like the word trick. I think they're dark, negative, and remove it from wonder. When I walk up to a table, a lot of people will go, oh, watch your wallets, if I'm doing tableside magic. People's preconceived notion of magicians isn't always good. And I assume it's not. They think we're nerds. They think we're, there's a thing, a magic nerd thing. If you think of a magic convention, what do you think? Nerds. Old nerds, not young, old. When you think of an anime convention, you think of young nerds. When I think of a magician convention, oh God, I think of old nerds, right? Okay, entertain. Well, okay. There are people that would put to entertain above wonder. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Stuart, we can talk about this. Stuart's a mentalist and not a magician, but I don't claim either. I do both and don't mention the fact. But we'll talk about that in a second. Yes, fool and trick sounds like explaining lawyers are. Yeah, well, okay, so there you go. It's just negative. And a lot of magicians, in their mind, I literally hear people going, I fried them. They use the word fry. I fried them. What do you mean you fried them? Yeah, that's terrible. You fried them. Arr! You fried, oh no. For them, magic is this ego game, the magician. All right, so, action. What's your action? What are you going to do? Okay. So here's what I wrote. Why I don't like magicians. A lot of magicians choose method first. Meaning, they learn a trick and the methodology. Like, you can hide a coin here. And because you can hide a coin here, they come up with a routine for it. As opposed to, they came up with a routine, and the only place to hide a coin logically for that to work would be here, or wherever it is. You see, there's a difference. It's almost like working backwards. And a lot of magicians are starting with the move. It's a weird concept. It's like they're not starting with, well, what's the magic at the end? Let's talk about that first. What's the impossible thing you're doing? I have the word clever written. One of the biggest takeaways, and I did an entire episode on this called Victoria Santa Cruz. Look it up. Well, he had a professor that always said clever kills art. Clever's bad. Being clever. A lot of magicians, 99% of magic I see are people trying to be clever. They're adding things because it signifies cleverness and not organically put into the plot. And that's because they're worried about entertaining. To me, entertaining, yes, everything has to be entertaining to some degree. And when I say entertain, I mean keep your attention. If it's not entertaining, then you just get out of here. Like, there's not even a point. Something has to be entertaining. Something. But the main thing is the wonder has to be, they can't just say I was entertained. Here's an example. How many ventriloquists move their mouths? A lot. Hey, Billy, how you feeling today? Great. You great? Yeah. I mean, their mouths move. Can you be entertaining and move your mouth? Well, look at Otto and George, the ventriloquists. He doesn't even hide it. There we go. Clever kills. Yes! Clever kills everything. It's your ego just on a rampant, you know. What was I talking about? It's when you're looking at a chat, it pulls you from your train of thought. It's amazing. I'm getting better at it. Oh, Otto and George. Can they be entertaining? Yes. Is he a ventriloquist? He's got the trappings of a ventriloquist. He's got a dummy. The puppet has a personality, right? But he's not doing any ventriloquism. So, no, he's not. He's a comedian with a puppet. It's different. It's like a magician can be funny and tell jokes. It doesn't mean they're doing magic and anything impossible. They can be entertaining. That's fine. Go ahead. Do that. I don't like it. It's fine. Have I seen funny as hell magicians that the magic was whatever? Yep. Did I have fun? Yeah. But as a magician, I didn't. I mean, as a... So, okay. Let's keep moving, because I could go hours on each one of these. Comedy over wonder. Yeah. A puzzle. Yeah, some magicians see it as a puzzle that you're trying to figure out. Like a game of chess with a puzzle involved. Understanding expectations, myth, archetypes, and man's metaphysical needs. Boy, that's a big one. I'll read that again. I literally just wrote this down. Understanding expectations, myth, archetypes, and man's metaphysical needs. To me, this is the most important part. What do they think a magician's supposed to do? What do they think a good magician is like? What does that mean? What do they think a magician's like in real life? What do they expect? If magic were real, what would they want to see me do? Or what would they want to do themselves? What is their mythology from their cultural backgrounds about magic or the impossible or the unknown? The big one, man's metaphysical need, meaning man wanting to believe in the supernatural no matter what. And now I'm going to talk to the atheists, because atheists, I don't know how many are watching now, 99% of you are God believers. I'm calling you out. Now, I'm not using the Christian argument that everybody believes in God and denies him. I've heard Christians say that, go, you're an atheist, you believe in God, you won't admit it. Admit it! That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is they believe in good. They believe in an ought. Now, I don't. I've done episodes on this. It doesn't matter. 90% of the population do. They do. They do have a metaphysical need. They do believe in good. They do believe in gods and demons and good luck and karma. Okay? You gotta understand this. Now, with all of that, how do you walk on stage, make a claim, and create wonder? Now you know why certain types of people are attracted to this. Okay. Whew, that's a lot to say in a big swoop. Does that make sense? Please tell me if I'm being unclear here, because I think about these things a lot, and I want it to be very clear. A Luciferian aspect, allure or glamour, certain trickster humor. Well, humor is a great tool, but it's not the main. I was saying to, I think Serena today, was it you? I was talking about how humor has to be organic for me to make it work. I don't like topical. Oh, another thing about magicians I don't like. I don't like politics, topical politics. I think it would, anything that detracts from wonder, what are you doing? When a ventriloquist moves his mouth, he just ruined the moment of wonder. He ruined the moment where the audience goes, all right, this guy's funny, but by God, there's two people on stage talking right now. That's what a ventriloquist does. Yeah, it was you, Serena. That's what I thought. anything like if you're being political, topically funny to the point of insanity, yes, there it is, Rick Sherman. Humor is the spice, not the mate. But again, even that humor, if they think you're interjecting it for just to be funny and it has no, what are you doing? Why would you do, if I'm about to make something disappear, appear, change color, why would I do anything else? Why? I'd be like, folks, I got some weird powers. You're never going to believe it. I'm going to show you now. Whoop, and you would do it. And people would be like, oh my God. You know? Like, wow. Their superheroes are real. Everybody wants the magician to be a superhero. So how I approached it, me personally, I thought, well, people have certain preconceived notions of magicians. Like, we're con men. And like, we are able to kind of mind get you. You know, like get you to get so confused that you lose track of time. Magicians are also good at stealing and hiding things. And it's sleight of hand and cards and being able to do crazy things with playing cards. And right? I mean, if you watch my Instagram, Cardone Magic, check it out. You will see me doing little bits of sleight of hand magic. I don't like to do a lot of magic online. I think it ruins it. I do a little bit, especially visual. If you want to see my magic, you got to come see my shows. So what do? My goal was to give them what they expect. I want them to see what the real, the trick that I do where I make cards appear out of thin air. When I first saw that as a little kid, I first was blown away and had no idea what was going on. And then after I learned what it was, I still was blown away because it didn't seem possible. And it always felt ancient. Even though it's not that ancient, I always thought it was old. Like, that's an old trick. And it takes years of practice. So I always thought when I walk on stage, I need to do a few things that bring the audience to like, wow, okay, he's the real deal. He can do sleight of hand. And then I take it in a new direction. If you see my nightclub show, it immediately starts with a game of chance. And they don't even know I do magic. I just walk out and I do a game of chance, and it has an ending. I then show off my shuffling skills, and then I immediately do a trick where I don't even touch the cards at all. They do everything shuffling. My eyes are closed. If you're a magician and you see me do some of them, I'll fool you because I'm not using any of your traditional methods. So I show the skill, and then I immediately go in a new direction. Immediately. And I've had people say to me, they know what I'm doing. They're like, oh my God, you're able to read people for real. Like, you're doing that? And so I don't tell them what I'm doing. I let them make some assumptions. There's mystery involved. But I do something impossible in real time, for real, under test conditions. Now, if you're wondering what test conditions are, in magic, if we say test conditions, it means as if a scientist were there. So if I have you pick a card, here, pick a card, put it in. Okay, and then you do a thing, and oh, it's in my sock. Okay? Test conditions would be, all right, you picked a card, I'm going to turn around and close my eyes, put it in the deck, and then shuffle them up. And you, sir, make sure I'm not peeking. Okay? Ready? Go. You got it? Cool. Now, and then you tell them, you recap. Look, I can't see. I'm really doing this, just so you know. And then you do the trick. So that's called test conditions. I actually think they're important. There's a great use for test conditions. It's in my shows, I start without them and I get to that. The last thing I do in my nightclub show now, I've been wanting to build it that way, and I finally in the last year fixed it, where I added it's a callback to an earlier trick, but I do it under even more impossible situation. So, yes, you're not an actor playing the part of a magician. F that, you're a wizard and a warlock. I agree. I mean, I want people to leave going, we got to see a real superhero do some things that normal people can't do. Why do magicians want to look like businessmen and fit in and be boring and talk about boring subjects? Folks, magic is extrovert. Now, I know introverts are attracted to nerdy hobbies, but it's an extrovert art form. Now, everything I'm saying, there are exceptions. There are loud introverts. You can be an introvert, but if you're a master entertainer, you know how to make that work. When I say master entertainer, I mean somebody that understands how the audiences behave. They're able to predict. And they're also, the other thing about a master entertainer, here's a story. If I'm ever in a restaurant or a party, and I do this for fun, just for practice purposes, like if I'm in a restaurant with my family, and I look at the room of people, I'll be like, all right, there's a guy and a girl and an old guy and a mom and a couple on a date, and there's the waiter. Cool. Now, look at the same room and pretend like you have a pack of cards in your pocket and you got to go to work. Now I have a whole new vision. The way I see the room when I'm in work mode, totally different. I know what types of tricks, what types of crowds. I get the idea of how they're going to be. I can guess now how people are going to behave pretty quick. I have a very predictive nature of how certain types will react. Once you've done thousands of shows and you're able to study human behavior on a micro level, you're able to do your magic on a whole new layer and make it smooth, natural, real, a real human connection. Not acting, not fake. When they meet me as a performer, as a magician, they're meeting me, my true self, not a character I'm playing. Why would I play a character? Why would I play? I have done many shows with Ryan Oakes, James Dunn. He's a friend of mine. Yes. Of course. He lives in Connecticut right now. He used to be here. Yes, of course. If you know him, tell him I said hi. Yes, Stuart knows him too. It's a small world. Looking at the crowd. Yes, it really is. I mean, really, okay, yeah, he's a mentalist. I mean, yeah, well. Okay, so, all right, I'm still, okay. The other thing I've noticed is this. A lot of magicians like to hang out with each other. There's little posses of magicians, little crews. There's this crew and that crew. And in New York City, there's definitely crews. There's that crew. There's the Manhattan crew. There was the Queens crew. There's the Coney crew. There's all these little crews of magic dudes. And, oh, did you tell him you know a magician? If that asshole said he didn't know me, I'm going to call him on the phone now and make fun of him. I'm going to call him right now. There's a very famous magician I know, not him, but somebody else, that they were like, yo, do you know Cardone? And he was like, no. And I'm like, that's a liar. It's another reason why I hate magicians. Where did you meet him at, Mr. Jim? That's funny. I'm sure it was at a corporate gig. Ah, interesting. Even worse than a group of comedians. Well, okay. I really think the reason why groups of magicians... So the famous magician, Jeff Sheridan, always told me, don't hang out with magicians. You'll develop bad habits. And he didn't explain it in detail, but I can do an hour show on just that alone. That is how he was introduced. Oh, a mentalist. Yeah, well, a lot of people use that because it's different. I get gigs as a mentalist. Dude, tell your office to hire me next year. It's ridiculous. I'll save them $200. Sorry, Ryan. What was I just talking about? Group, bad habit. So here's the thing. I might spend years learning how to hold a pack of cards in a manner that looks natural, and I'm doing something secret, and you'll never know. Never know. The ego is hidden. The amount of effort is hidden in me and this little thing I'm doing that you don't know about. I can't tell you. When you see a juggler that put years of practice into juggling 8 balls in the air, You see where the ego is. There it is. It's all for all to see. But in magic, you don't always get to see the skill, unless he does like, one of these, one-handed shot. Unless you're going to do something like that, like a move. Honestly, that's different. But the real move for the trick, totally hidden. No ego. No one will ever know how much practice you put. When you have magicians in a group, we all know how big we all are. We know how good. Because we all know what we're doing. So I think that's why magicians like to flex when they're around each other. But I also think magicians who are inferior in their own superhero-ness, they like to collective. That's why I don't like collectivism. Never did. Boo. Unique extroverts that are ubermenches usually don't like collective. It's kind of like a nauseating thing. So I never liked the concept of a magic show with 5 magicians in it. Because if I come out there and I'm really trying to get the audience on my side of you're seeing real things and I'm being honest, when they see the guys playing goofy characters and doing stupid stuff. And another thing I forgot to mention is how many magicians make fun of magic and magicians in their show. They actually mention that magic's lame, most magicians are lame. They say it. I don't say that in my show. I don't mention how lame magic. Why would I do that? I do magic. It's not lame. They're lame. I can't stand it when people do that. It's like, what are you doing? You're making your own job twice as hard. I think it's because they haven't thought about what their goal is. If your goal is to create wonder, anything in between that stops that, out. Out. Bye-bye. Oh, yeah, I've gigged with him before. Yeah, he's on point. Did he... I wonder, did he do the trick with the lemon? He has a trick with a lemon that's pretty cool. Huh? Oh, you mentioned me to him. Oh, I don't know what's going on in here. Magician's guilt goes beyond that. Guilt of knowing secrets. They feel guilty. Yeah, I agree. How many magicians like to tell people that magic's not real? Houdini was like that. Houdini was an idiot. I don't like Houdini. Not a fan. He ran around like debunking psychics and mediums, and he was wearing a good guy badge. Houdini really was wearing a good guy badge. It means he didn't think that creating wonder was enough good. He had to put on a different badge and be a public service announcement. Psychics are fake. Well, yeah, so what if they're fake? Who cares? I think religion's fake. Whatever. Everything's fake. Who cares? Why bother? Wrestling's fake. Imagine going to see pro wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, the match you're about to see is completely choreographed. Take it away. What if it started like that? Why would they do that? Oh, he didn't do the lemon trick? So, I honestly can't fathom why magicians would want to diminish real magic, or whatever someone thinks of as. If you're going to imitate real magic, why would you? It's like it. Houdini also, there's a story where he might have stolen props off of Blackstone. Look into that. Kind of weird. Houdini also stole another magician's name and then wrote a book against him, even though the guy had been dead for, 50 years? It's ridiculous. Yeah, the more I learned about him, the less I liked him. Just like Ricky Jay. The more I learned about him, I didn't like him either. I don't like Ricky Jay. I mean, well, he's fine, but I'm not a big fan. Okay, I will be honest. I am not a fan of James Randi either, because he also was wearing that good guy badge. Now, he was out there trying to offer money to prove that there's no such thing as psychic phenomena, and he definitely cheated. I don't like these guys. Out of the famous magicians, I'll be honest, I do think David Copperfield's a really good magician. He created wonder. He would be goofy, but then he would reel it into serious. And he was a sleight of hand guy too. Here's something I'll mention. To me, this is very important. If somebody meets me as a character, like as a performer, as like they meet me at a gig, they're meeting somebody who's actually used my magic skills to do bad things. Okay? I think they can tell. I think they can tell. I don't mind that it's in there because it's part of the real deal. It's part of the wonder. It's part of the mystery. Yes, I have done some things with my magic skills in my life to do some fun little whatevers. Yeah, of course. Not anymore. But when I was young, oh my God, yeah. And I always thought when you meet a performer or a magician, you want to feel thousands of years of history inside of their craft, however that manifests. You want to see skill, some skill, whether it's how they're reading the room, what they're doing with their hands, okay? And I really think that you should look them in the eye and there should be a sense of mystery and danger without them even doing a damn thing. Without the magic. Alone. So, I don't see that anymore. This is why I'm doing this show. I called the show Mundane Magicians because it's like I want to create a magic character and they're going to come out in pajamas and yawn. That's kind of what it seems like for some of these things. Or they're doing tricks. The actual magic they're doing. I mean, making rubber bands melt through each other is not very sexy. It looks cool, but it's as an artistic prop. I don't get it. I don't get it. I just don't understand. I mean, to me, magic should look organic. It should look like jazz. It should look like the guy's thinking on his toes. I just always thought that when I'm watching a magic show, well, the reason why I don't like to watch magic shows is because I rarely see what I'm talking about, and I see people making fun of magic. I see most of their artistic choices are for not wonder reasons. They're for other reasons, and I can't watch it. I can't watch it. Their material choice is weird. A lot of times people pick material because of they like it themselves. Like, they like the way the trick operates. And so they're like, now I'll be honest, there's certain tricks I don't groove. Like, I'm trying to think of a famous trick. So first of all, every trick that I do in my show is a trick I hated. And I made it, I figured out how I would make it better. And through that process, I discovered something really cool. And so that's how I've always operated. But really, I try to examine my own acts all the time. And I look at it with a magnifying glass of what are they bringing to the table, the audience? Who are they? What are they showing up with? If you perform for little kids, something amazing happens. Their heads aren't filled with garbage yet. They only know a little bit. You know, they have their world around them and the small amount of knowledge they've gotten from school. They have their archetypes and the world's archetypes. They're inside of a kid, but a lot of them they haven't come to terms with yet. But it's in there. And so whenever I have a group of kids, I take it dead serious. A lot of magicians, like, it's a kid's show. There's the proof they're idiots right there. Right there. If they poo-poo doing kids' magic shows, it usually means they're not very good. Because, especially if they're a real magician, there are people that are children's entertainer magicians, and they're wonderful, but they don't do what me and Stuart and Ryan Oakes, the guy that you mentioned, they don't do what we're doing. They're doing a very specific thing. They're doing children's entertainment, and it just so happens to be magic. I always took it seriously. If I'm doing magic for kids, I assume they've never seen any magic, and I'm the first guy they're gonna see. I get to dictate how they view the world of magic, and so I want to put in their little minds good stuff. I want to show them the skill, the practice. What happens if you put practice in? You can make playing cards shoot in the air and do crazy stuff. I also want to knock their socks off and make things happen that are impossible. I want them to know they're never going to know everything in the universe. And that's okay. That's what wonder is. That's it. It's my job. I have one job. Make wonder. Stop it all. Don't stop at any cost. Go for it. Create wonder. But make it real. Because real is where the wonder is going to come from. Not wonder for, I don't know. I mean, we could talk about the word wonder for an hour. But honestly, make the wonder grow from a real moment. That they're like, I can't believe that just happened in real time. I've never seen that before. Wow. Thank you. Yeah. Thoughts? Ideas? I really could talk about this. Now, if you're a magician in the room, there's a few of you. Stuart. Serena does magic. Serena's in the house right now. Hi, Serena. I don't know if you're watching still or you're listening. You're probably listening. She's performing magic. Serena, I don't know how long ago you started, but I'm going to tell your story a little bit, if you don't mind. But Serena is in a professional show. Serena was a guest on my show, and I showed a video of her in her show. And she got a job doing magic in a professional scenario. 4 nights a week. And, oh yeah, see? Hi, Serena. I'm going to tell your story, Craig. Hi, you're watching. And so she was thrown to the wolves, right? Is that a great way to explain it? You learned enough sleight of hand card magic, a little bit, and dude, you were like, go work, to people paying a lot of money. Not easy. That's a pressure. So that's do or die. If you've ever had a do or die job, you do learn on the fly really quickly. And if you suck, you suck, right? You've failed before. We've all failed live before. It's part of the deal. But when you fail doing a magic trick live, it feels crazy. I love it. James said it. Do you know how many people see me at slipper room? And it's my favorite compliment when a guy comes up and goes, dude, I mean, I came here to see naked ladies, and you basically are my favorite act tonight. I'm not kidding. I don't mean to diminish the awesome burlesque friends I have, but I do get that compliment because I don't think people expect. That's why I like doing nightclub work. Not nightclubs that's all magic stuff. I'm talking comedian, juggler, stripper, magician. Because it really makes the magic stick out like a sore thumb. It's different than all the other art forms in a lot of ways. And for me, the main one is that it's real. And she had to learn on the fly a lot of little details that you would never think of. I mean, literally just how you walk up to people and go, hey, what's up? Want to see magic? A lot of people struggle with that moment because, again, who are these people? Where are they coming from? Do they hate magic? Do they hate me? Do they... I can keep going here with questions they're asking or preconceived notions. So how do you start your magic show? How does your intro start the wonder? How? The wonder for me happens as soon as you walk in the room. What you look like, what you're wearing, what your eyes look like, what your hair, everything. It's all there. Wonder, mystery. Mystery makes people ask questions. Asking questions draws you in. Very beloved Bulgarian theater director, Mladen Kiselov, always said, you got to get the audience asking questions immediately. I remember one time I was a judge in a magic contest 15, 20 years ago, okay? And one of the guys that ended up being pretty good, he came out dressed in kind of a plain Jane suit, but he had something weird on his lapel. And I remember looking and being like, what the hell is that? And it was getting me to ask questions. What if a magician walked on stage wearing a suit and tie and there was a piece of toilet paper stuck to his shoe? Asking questions. Anything to get you to ask a question draws you in. So to me, mystery is where it begins. Wonder is what you're getting for. There free. So, yeah. I don't watch a lot of magic. Another reason why I don't watch a lot of magic, when I see other magicians performing, it stifles my creative process. I don't like to do that. I kind of like to have a blank slate. I don't want to know what other people are doing. I don't care. Yeah, I don't like magic. I'm glad that you guys all like it, and I love performing magic. I like talking about it. I love teaching magic. I do. I love teaching new magicians what I got out of it and how I got to what I got to. Because it's all from experimenting. It's all from trial and error. I once read, I don't know who wrote this, the definition of a master magician is somebody who can do magic anywhere, anytime, for one person or for thousands of people. Doesn't matter. That's always been my goal, is like, I want to be able to do it for all conditions. All conditions. And I finally found a magic trick I can do for blind people. It's been a goal of mine for a long time. I've been wanting to be able to do... I've done enough gigs now where there's one or two blind guys at the gig, and I'm always really upset I can't go show them something. It kind of upsets me. So I've been kind of on the hunt for something a blind guy can experience that's magical, and I think I have one. I want to be able to entertain a 4-year-old... 3-year-olds you don't have to entertain. That's a whole nother. But like a little kid, I want to blow their minds, and I want to blow away an old guy's mind. I want to blow away a poor guy, a rich guy, a crook, a good Samaritan. I don't care. I don't care. I just want to make people experience wonder. I would just like to boost my wonder component. Well, okay, that's a really good question. Sweaty writer, what is your medium? Are you a writer? Like, are you looking for a little wonder in your writing, or is this magic? I'm curious. What does that mean? Before I bounce, because I am hungry, and I've been on here for an hour and a half. I knew this was going to go fast. This is the subject that I not only have devoted my life to. Right behind you, there's a bookshelf with 250 books. I've read all of them. I think a lot about this. They're magic trick books. They're theory books. There's lesser magic. When someone refers to lesser magic, ladies and gentlemen, hey, if you're new, hit the like and subscribe, please. Donations are cool, too. If you're new to this, lesser magic is the form of real magic that happens up close, one-on-one, subtle, getting things your way without saying a word. It's the other subject I think a lot about. Okay, this is very, very good. We might have a longer show tonight. This is the kind of stuff I like. Sweaty Writer says, I would like to learn stage magic to improve lesser magic. Yeah. Yeah. Because stage magic has the symbolism and the metaphor in it. But it's done on a bigger scale for more people to witness. Lesser magic's a personal thing. It's a one-on-one thing. Well, let me think about this. Well, okay. Aside from demeanor, let's start with appearance. That's the first one. Your appearance. Do you look sexy? Do you look scary? Do you look plain Jane? Plain Jane meaning, I'll put the quotes, normal. Like you're a regular guy, a regular girl, something that would blend into a crowd, nothing fancy, nothing overtly flamboyant, right? Right. Oh yeah, I was getting to that. The confidence part. Yes, that comes. So first, design your look. What feels natural? Everything you ever see me wear on stage, when I get a gig and they're like, "Can you please wear this jacket? It's part of our corporate logo." Occasionally I'll be able to pull it off, but I'll tell them, "Yes, but you got to let me help design it." Because if I don't feel good in something, I can't walk on stage. I can't do it. I feel like a boob. I can't perform. I have to feel comfortable and confident. I was going to get to that. Confident in what I look like. So you got to figure out what you like to look like. What makes you feel comfortable. So then, once you figure out your look, then with confidence, you enter the game. You enter. It might be something subtle. It might be, I realized I have lots of little, like when I do a magic show, I wear rings. I have a look about me that people can't pinpoint. They're like, are you an Elvis entertainer? Are you going to sing tonight? Are you the male stripper they hired? These are the things I hear before I do magic. Because they don't know how to pinpoint me. I saw in the film that will be available in the fall, but it opens this week at the MoMA, Realm of Satan. I have 2 magic sequences in it. That film, what's this? I'm getting messages. In that, what was I talking about? The film, something, confident, boo, I can't remember. The Power of the Command to Look. All right, well, Command to Look is a really good book. That's a book by Mortensen. It's a photography manual. I did a whole show on it. Character, confidence, and creativity. Yeah. To me, character isn't character. It's you. On 11. Especially with lesser magic and stage magic. It's you. You know when you see a Ringling Brothers clown? Ringling Brothers in Barnum and Bailey Circus. The clowns. The famous clowns. You know they don't use clown names? There's no Bubbles or Freckles the clown. They use their real names. Like Emmett Kelly the clown. And Lou Jacobs. Everybody knows Emmett Kelly, the sad clown with the bowler hat. His name wasn't Boo Boo or Bozo. It's Emmett Kelly. Because real clowns use their real names. Because they aren't a character. It's an extension of their inside. And I always thought that's how magic should be. That's what pro wrestlers learn when they go to wrestling school. Yeah. That's what pro wrestlers learn. How to take what's already there and make it something a little more. So character, confidence, that's a must. You got to believe that what you're about to do is going to work. Listen, I shot arrows today. I hadn't gone in a month or so. I love to go to the range and shoot arrows. And I was sucking. I sucked. I was like, oh my God, I sucked today. I adjust my sights. You have to adjust your sights sometimes. And I decided to change my mental attitude. And all of a sudden I started hitting the bullseye. Confidence. And the last one, creativity. Yeah, to me, that's got to always be there. People that are creative, Um, what is creative? I should do a whole show on this. What does that even mean? This is why I annoy people when I hang out with them. I do. I annoy people because I'll fixate on a word. They'll be using words. I'm like, whoa, before we keep going, let's talk about this word. What does creative mean? I can do a whole show on this. Free thought that grows. New ways to look at the old. New ways to put things together. Well, you're very welcome. You have a few people in the house here that know what they're doing. Stuart, you should go watch the interview again. And Stuart Palm, we should do another one where we do both of us and pick a subject. Because you and me are really good at the riff, the back and forth. We have similar tastes, me and Stuart in here. For sure, we have similar tastes on performance. Me and Stuart both believe in real magic, first of all. Most magicians do not. That's the first thing, okay? Their definition of real magic is ridiculous. This is a magic wand. Auto-tune and beat. What's that say? Well, we're about to see a world of creative coming from robots. And I'm going to be honest, those robots are going to be better than all the crap you're seeing already. It's going to be more interesting and entertaining. Why? Because so many artists out there aren't artists. They're designers. They're not art. They're non-artists. They're designers. Editors and designers aren't artists. It's a different thing. They take what artists' concepts are, like something Salvador Dali would come up with in concept, and then they appropriate it. That's different. Okay, here we go. Stuart, for me, the best experience to be able to impart a feeling of wonder is to confront death. Yes, death is the big wonder. Is it not? It's what makes us move. Sex and death. Life and death. Both of them move everything. They're part of entropy. They're the fabric of reality. Never going anywhere. Your VR gear. I would love to be able to perform magic in my VR. I don't even know what that means. I'm so backwards on this stuff. Virtual reality gear. How would that work? Well, eventually there's going to be virtual magic shows where you're in there but yours is virtual. It's not real. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work. I did online magic shows and it did work for a while. People like it. You know, you can do magic via this medium. Well, Sweaty, thank you for being in here. Your questions are good. I mean, those kind of questions get my imagination flying. But I really do take what I do very seriously. I always have. I take magic seriously. I take being a magician seriously. I am very proud that I've been able to pull it off for this long as a way to make money. And I'm pretty proud that I've been able to, come to some conclusions through trial and error that are real. They work. They're not just ideas and, no, they're real. I can show you they're real. I can show you through years of trial and error, there are better ways to do things. You know, you could do it that way, but you get way more this way. So glad to not have to do those anymore. Yeah, Stuart, wow. Thank you very much, Sweaty. I mean, for me, it's all one big ball of fun. My magic, whatever, my rock and roll character, my human character, it's all the same. I'm one person. It's funny, the more I study philosophy and some neuroscience, I realize we're not one person. There is no I. This brain of mine is not one I. It's one brain here, but inside there are many different drives. And they are competing with one another, some of them. They're not friends. Some of them are like, I try to make them somehow friends, but they're not always friends. But I realized at an early age, practicing sleight of hand and not relying on gadgets is easier in the long run because you can be a little lazy now. You don't need to worry about carrying gadgets. Why? Because you practice for 20 years. And the other thing is, being yourself, well, that's obviously way easier because you just be yourself. You don't have to play a character. And on that one, it's easier to tell the truth. You don't have to remember anything. So when you hear me telling crazy stories, they're all true. Why? Because I can't remember anything. I can only remember the ones that happened to me, and I just remember it. I don't have to make it up. Thank you, Mr. Jim. Cheers to you. I like you too. You're a character too, Jim. Clearly. You are a character too, and I know other people that would say that. Stuart. Well, I'm glad I met you too, because you're an artist. You're coming from an art point of view. Thank you. It means a lot to me. Yeah, I mean, I felt the same. I came to New York. When I came to New York, I wasn't here to become a magician. I didn't know what I was going to do when I got here. Magic was almost like a fallback, and that's what it was. It was my fallback. It was like, dude, I've been doing it since high school. Might as well keep doing it. Yeah, 03. Yeah, Wolfgang was 2. On the Warlock website, yes. Yeah, so I've known you since 2003, Stuart. Cheers. Wow. And Rick Sherman in here. I met you, Rick, I met Rick in like 2000-ish or 01, around that. I felt the same too. I didn't like the magic people I was meeting. They were very gatekeeper to the point of silliness. My point of view between stage magic and the real one is that they're the exact same thing, with different focal points, that's all, and different patience levels. But they're the same. They have the same tools involved. The skills used to make a card trick go very well, you can use to kill somebody psychologically. Yes, you can. Yeah, and if there's any magicians watching still, I would say the main thing that people do, they don't understand. They might be able to do sleight of hand. They might be entertaining, but they're terrible at timing. And when I mean timing, I mean, imagine a magic act in sounds like ba-ba-ba-bee, 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 ba-ba-ba-ba, ba-ba-ba-ba, ba-ba-ba-bee. Boom! It's like a song. It's like so I think of magic like that. I think of it as a song. What's the vibe of the song? Songs have tension and release. So I write music, and I always thought of magic as the same thing. Now, here's why it's important. When you have a song, there's a beat. Boom, boom. And this happens, and this happens, and this happens, and this happens. And you see like this, and you see every time I do that with my hands, there's the top. That's where the secret moves happen. There's the beat, the beat, the beat, and in between the beat is where the moves are happening. You can't see them. Why? Because that's where the blind spots are. Okay? That's real magic. I'm able to create a blind spot in your imagination. It's how thieves steal. That's how you're able to shoplift right in front of someone and they didn't even know you stole something. You're creating blind spots. Now I'm giving you some real secrets. And that's a real magic power. That's not... If somebody doesn't believe in magic, there's one right there that's real. The ability to create a blind spot in someone's mind as you're right there talking to them. I do it all the time. All right. Yes, you got it, Sweaty. The real occultists understand music. I love it. I love it. Friedrich Nietzsche was also a musician. All right, folks, I'm out of here. I love you guys. It's a great group. I really, it's inspiring to see people in here that are thinkers, that are curious seekers. That's a big one, curiosity. And that you listen to me. Thank you very much that you give me time to listen to me. If you're new, please hit the like and subscribe and the notify. This website sucks. Sorry, YouTube. It's not YouTube anymore. It's corporate tube. I get it. You have shareholders now. Screw off. But I will be honest. Blessings of hell for the yes. Thank you very much. No, I'll be honest. Yeah. Please keep coming back. I try to make the content here worth your time. If you are the donating type, hallelujah. It's always accepted with a big smile, and I do work full-time doing these things and performing, so thank you if you do. We have some great people that donate all the time. Thank you. That's all I have to say. I'm going to go hit this thing, eat a little food, and enjoy my awesome Monday. I have a very busy week. There's a Rambones show Sunday at Otto's Shrunken Head. A tribute to the Ramones. My son's band is playing. It's the first time me and my son are on the same bill. I'm quite excited. He's in a really good metal band. They're awesome. And we're playing at Otto's Shrunken Head, one of the last punk rock joints in New York City. Saturday night, I'm on the 10:30 slot at the Slipper Room, and it's been selling out. And I mean, Saturday night was insane. There was a line down the street. It was a wild crowd. Check it out. And if you're new, follow me on Instagram. I do post a lot of fun things tied into all this. I'm going to take us out with our video, and I'll see you all in hell. Party on, Wayne. Happy Monday.
Captain Crunch presents Breakfast on the Guppy. Morning already, Sea Dog? Where's the crew? All hands on deck! Pirates off the port bow! This ought to fetch 'em. It's Captain Crunch, the cereal named after me. Captain Crunch, delightfully sweet, sugar sweet, and fun to munch 'cause it keeps its crunch. So crisp, it never uncrunches, not even in milk. Now,
Anybody for a bowl of Captain Crunch?
scuttle my hornpipe, Sea Dog. There's people at breakfast I never saw before. Oh, man's got to be careful when he says Captain Crunch. Now it's your grocer's, Captain Crunch, the cereal that's named after me. Captain Crunch presents